to the one and only Dawgs Show. Your hosts, Troop Brinson and Smooch Moncrief.
Just two dudes talking Georgia football.
Welcome, Dog fans, to the one and only Dawgs Show with Troop and Smooch. And it is Texas week as Georgia took care of Mississippi State. We knew they would take care of them. We didn't know quite how well they would dispatch those other Bulldogs. But a very good showing for Georgia. And they appear to be, Smooch, peaking at the right time because we got one more SEC game left, and it's punch your ticket to the playoffs time of the year. And everybody, including the Dawgs Show, feels really good about where Georgia is at this point.
Yeah, Troop, you just summarized not only the content of this podcast, but probably the content of 4 or 5 other prominent Georgia podcasts. It does seem that these Bulldogs, they have been through the ringer, they have faced loss, and they have come away with victory. They have survived it all, and now they appear to be playing their best football when it matters most, peaking at the right time, however you want to say it. And here we are. It is Georgia-Texas week, Drew Brinson.
Hey, Patrick, what am I now?
Stupid?
No, I'm Texas.
What's the difference?
Yeah, Georgia only one loss. Texas with 2 losses, so that does put Texas in a spot where they're in the playoffs right now in terms of what they have to approach each game. They got Georgia and then Texas A&M. Then they're going to be they're not going to be favored. I mean, underdogs in both of those games. I think the game against A&M may be at home in Austin for Texas, but this weekend is not. And if they don't win this weekend, that game against A&M won't matter at all. So you can expect on a bye week to have Texas come to town at 7:30 at night, and all the eyes in the country are going to be watching this ball game. And you can expect to get their best shot. Is it good enough? We're going to look at that tonight. Is it good enough? Do they have the horses? Do they have what they need to do the structure to beat Georgia? Is Georgia too much for them? We saw what happened last year. We'll talk about those things and some statistics that support that. And then we'll touch on what happened against Mississippi State with some snap counts and some who was the winners in those games in terms of players, and where UGA ranks in terms of college football and SEC, especially offensively. That's where Georgia, and it's strange to look at that, but that's where Georgia's excelling right now is offensively.
Yeah.
And there's obviously hope defensively to be better and to be enough. And they've done it all year where they've made plays in the second half and especially the fourth quarter. We'll talk about that. There's also another thing on my mind, Smooch, I want to talk about. There was a big game this past Saturday. And because the conversation seems to be about conferences, because conferences do matter when you get to the playoffs. How many seeds do you get? I mean, how many playoff berths do you get? And it's Big Ten again. It's still Big 10, Big 12. What are they now? Big 16? I don't know.
No, big something.
Yeah, against the SEC. And one of those games that has been compared to what an SEC team faces and how you play in it is that Indiana Penn State games. We're going to talk about that.
Adorable.
Yeah. And Mendoza. And that's just a topic that is very interesting to us. We're going to talk about that amongst all other things. But Smooch, good to see you tonight. It's been a cold couple of days here in the Southeast.
Yeah, I've got my winter stuff on. I don't know if you can see. It has gotten cold suddenly. And what happens is you can then smell football in the air. There's something about it being abusively cold outside that makes me think about football. And it's a great weekend for it. I started this season with this date. We all had this date circled. But I had an ominous tone, an ominous feeling when I circled this date. I was like, oh my gosh, Texas was the preseason number 1. Here we go. Here it comes. I'm going to tell you, the ominous notes are now gone. I cannot wait to get it on with the Longhorns this weekend, Troop.
Yeah, and Kirby Smart has talked about it over and over. And it's tough for fans, especially early in the season when you're like, I want to see Georgia play their bst all year long. And he's telling you, after every game that we just want to be playing our best. We want to improve every week, get better. And you're like, that's just coach speak. That's just coaches talking. But it's not. And you see when you got young players, it doesn't always go according to plan, but it seems to have with Georgia offensively, especially when you got Gunnar Stockton and an offensive line who was trying to gel. And we say that word gel a lot. Guess what? Georgia's offensive line is gelling.
Oh, yes, they are.
They're healthy. And they've got numbers now, and they are playing the best football of the last since 2023,
easily,
maybe before.
On that,
And this team is a Gunnar Stockton team, which is a good thing. We didn't know that to start the season, whether that would be a good thing or not. But it's a good thing the way he plays.
It's Gunner's team. It's Gunner's team. Before the season, the national.
But it's the personality, right?
It is. It's the personality. He is the identity of the Georgia Bulldogs. He's the heart and soul, however you want to say it. Before this season, the national media was like, let's see if the Dogs can win despite Gunnar Stockton.
Yes, in spite of him.
Let's see if the Dogs can win and Gunnar can manage it. No, they're winning right now because of who their quarterback is and what he represents, Troop.
Yeah, but it's like the whole team is taking on Gunnar's persona.
Yes.
And there's nothing that's inauthentic about it. It's just like who Gunnar is and who these guys just love how he plays the game, and so they're willing to sell out as well because he is getting he's taking some punishment from the quarterback position, but that's why they like. We haven't seen this before, but I had a feeling that coming into the season, that's why they liked him because he was a football player. Football players. Guess what? They're going to take abuse. They're going to get hit. They're going to hit the ground hard. They're going to take some punishment. Quarterbacks don't normally take that very easily and keep performing. It gets in their head.
Yeah.
They don't perform as well. They get panicky. They get the happy feet, all those things. But Gunnar's that guy. You saw it last year. When he gets hit, he starts playing better. He settles in when he takes a big shot.
In MMA, there's a man named Nate Diaz, and it's always been said he can't start fighting until you hit him in the mouth a few times. And Gunnar Stockton certainly has that same type of air. The way to get Gunnar to play his best football is to hit him in the mouth a few times. And that's his identity. It goes all the way to the pickup truck he drives, to the fact that he's not some NIL darling out there, the fact that he has been, even though he was a 5-star when he was in high school, he's been completely forgotten about and overlooked. All of those things and his sort of all shucks, can I take you fishing at my family's place mentality, that type of thing seems to endear him and buy this unending, undying loyalty. And not only are they loyal to him, Troop, but they believe because he believes. He believes they can win any game, and they believe it because he believes it. And that's what we mean when we say the identity of this team.
Yeah, so a lot of teams, quarterbacks are the prima donnas. They want to be protected and taken care of, and they want to make the most money. But with Gunnar Stockton, you see the way he plays, and you start to see the offensive line and the linebackers and the tight ends and their wide receivers blocking to the whistle, punishing defenders, and that matters. And that's that coming together and playing like your team leader. And I don't think Gunnar Stockton would term himself as a team leader, but they follow suit the way he plays the game. And I think even the front seven on the defense, I really have a lot of questions with the secondary, how they're going to perform going forward. But I feel good about the defensive line, and the linebackers are playing some of their best football. And so I feel good about Georgia peaking at this point because they are playing some of their best football, even if it wasn't about Mississippi State, who was a team who was overmatched. Well, guess what? Mississippi State took Texas to overtime. Texas had to have a crazy finish just to have a chance to play overtime against them. They did.
100%.
And Tennessee, Florida, there's some games that Mississippi State had a lot more of a foothold in it against Georgia, but Georgia is playing at a different level right now, which bodes well. And so the question would be, as we look into Texas week, and I thought this was a disadvantage for Georgia, with Texas having a bye week and they're just focused on the Georgia Bulldogs. They're sitting at home. But the way Georgia's playing right now, we've seen it so many times in terms of football, baseball, other sports. momentum and playing well and continuing that is if you don't have injury issues, which Georgia doesn't right now, is an advantage. If you got an injury problem you're trying to get healthy from, you need it, but Georgia's not there right now. They are very healthy.
Well, first of all, I don't know what the record is for teams that play your team that get a bye week before, but I'm pretty sure Georgia's at it this year with the scheduling. So many teams that have played Georgia this year have gotten the bye week before. This is the game. This is the game where the bye week matters least because Georgia has upward momentum. They're itching to get back onto the field and show that this growth that they've shown in the last few games, the last 6 quarters especially, is what they are. And then you take a Texas team that really hasn't put it all together yet. There's talent everywhere. Of course, you've got a great prospect at quarterback. You've got a great defense. But the bye week Texas has bothers me not in the least. I think Georgia's in the best spot. I would much rather be the home team in this game than have the bye week, Troop Brinson.
And looking at the statistics, and so when we focus on Texas, I guess the overall picture matters because it's at this point it's who you are. We can all tell you who we want to be, and Texas will tell you who they expect to be, who they want to be at their best. But here's who these teams are, Smooch, and we'll put it on the screen right now. Statistically, Georgia does score about over 8 points more than Texas a game, 32.6. This is the whole season, not just the Power Four. 32.6 for Georgia, 24 points, 0.3 points for Texas.
Oh, that's surprising. Say that again.
And Georgia's averaging almost 100 yards more per game than Texas.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then you look at the quarterback position, which not everybody, but a lot of folks said that Gunnar Stockton was going to take a backseat to almost everybody in the SEC.
Everybody, yeah. 10th in the SEC.
And Arch Manning was going to compete with DJ Lagway and Nussmeier for the Heisman Trophy from the SEC. And the completion percentage is highly in favor of Georgia and Gunnar Stockton over Manning, 68.6% compared to 62.6. So,
hey, do you know what Lagway, Manning, and Nussmeier have all have in common this season? They would trade their quarterbacks for Gunnar Stockton. That's one thing they all three have in common, True Brinson.
It's true. And the only two, I guess, statistical advantages in terms of the season for Texas would be passing yards. But it's very negligible as there's less than 2 percentage points, 2 points. 1.3, as a matter of fact, in terms of passing yardage. Texas averaging 240.2, Georgia 238.9. But Georgia does average over 8 yards per attempt compared to just over 7 yards for Texas.
Interesting.
And then we know that Georgia runs the ball well, and so Georgia dominates that. I mean, Georgia just under 200 yards per game, and Texas is under 100 yards. That's when you talk about a game being right.
Yeah, physical.
When you talk about a game being a line of scrimmage game, especially in the SEC, especially for games that matter, when you're almost 100 yards difference in rushing yardage, you're going to win those games. The anomaly for Georgia this year, which it rarely happens that you're going to run for 220 yards and lose a game like Georgia did against Alabama. And there were some caveats to that, how they lost to Alabama, but it's rare. And they have a big advantage over Texas in terms of that, and also in terms of let me see what I was looking at. Third down percentage, Georgia wins those two. We always talk about those things.
Yeah, and they've done that, Troop. While Georgia has done that, they've beaten Texas in those categories while playing a much harder schedule. Let's not forget that Texas was gifted a schedule for their first 2 seasons to sort of elevate them into the SEC picture. So Georgia, Alabama, Florida, look at the schedules they've played and look at the schedule that Texas has played. And Georgia is still dominating statistically.
Yeah, Texas has gotten a break their first 2 years in the SEC. And even in stuff like we talk about discipline, penalties, Georgia's beaten Texas on that as well. So you figure with a game at home at night, and a lot of the world, the football world, will say, well, Georgia's already got so many benefits over this season in terms of officiating. It feels that way if you're not a Georgia fan. Mm-hmm. But if you really watch the games and you look at some of the calls that were controversial, and you could say they got it right. And so it's not like you gave us something we didn't deserve. You just got it right. But it was like 52-48, kind of a 50-50 kind of a battle on those calls. But in the end, they got the calls right.
Yeah.
That mattered. And so it's not like Georgia has benefited, but the narrative is the narrative, right? And right now the officials are giving Georgia a huge break. If they want to give them a break, give it to them this weekend in Athens. But looking at these statistics, they don't need a break because they're just a better team. They played better all year. They've had a better quarterback. They got a better offensive line, and they've just played better, more disciplined football, and they finished the games better. Just a better team. So Georgia fans, I'm talking to myself, Smooch, who has been like
you've been on the fence about this, yeah.
I have because more so because I feel like that Texas got a bye week to focus on Georgia, and that's kind of helped offenses against Georgia in the first half. Mm-hmm. And also their backs are against the wall. But in terms of football, Georgia's just playing better. Georgia's just a better team.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else. True, everything you just said is spot on, by the way. There's something else, Troop. There is, I don't know what it is, but if you look at those two games with Texas last year, there's just nothing about Steve Sarkisian that puzzles Kirby Smart. It's just not there. Now, we've seen that with you could even throw Kalen DeBoer into that mix. There might be something there that troubles Kirby. But there is nothing that Heupel or Sarkisian offer that bothers Kirby Smart. He seems to have a grasp of it. It's not catching him by surprise. And even if you execute to near perfection like Tennessee did this past year in the game, this season in the game, Kirby still knows he has a shot to win it. And so I don't see where – I can see where Sark – and I've seen him make some great calls and run some great schemes and do some awesome things in games. He just can't do it against Kirby. There's something – they say styles make fights. There's something about the way these two match up that favors Georgia heavily when it comes to coaching.
Well, yeah, I agree. Unless they remake everything, which Sark is not the kind of a dude who's going to remake his. He believes
he's pretty
in
sure
himself.
He's right. Yeah, he's pretty sure
he's
right.
very confident in himself. Yes, and, yeah. Even though Georgia proved him wrong last year, but it was more because of Georgia putting so much pressure on a quarterback.
That's a good
and
point.
Quinn Ewers. Dude, he held the ball too long, and Georgia punished him over and over. And then when he got a little bit panicky, they turned the ball over and gave Georgia some great field position.
And Dalen Everett did not drop interceptions. That's an important thing. You don't drop it.
But it's important to know that Texas's offense may be a comfortable type of offense for Kirby Smart because it is a basic offense. I mean, it's a pro style. They want to do things a certain way, and Kirby is very confident in that. But it's also something Georgia's seen 2 games ago. Florida plays a very similar offense to what Texas wants to do
with a more athletic quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But Texas is obviously a better overall team and better coached than Florida, but they want to do some of the same things offensively. Mm-hmm. And they have a good defense. And it's questionable if Florida or Texas have a better defense. It is questionable because both of those are quality defenses in the SEC. But Georgia has seen that type of an offense. They've scouted. They know. So hopefully they're prepared for it. And, Georgia's also comfortable being uncomfortable. So if you want to score first, go ahead. Mississippi State scored first, and Georgia went on to score the next 38 points. So how it works sometimes.
How'd that work out? Did I say? So I was actually at a wedding Saturday, and I saw 7-0 happen.
You said, dang.
And I was like, oh, man, we're going to get another one of these dog fights. I come back, it's like 31-7. I was like, hey, what happened, guys?
Yeah, you called me.
I did.
I was working. You called me, and I was like, I tried to call you back, but I was like, okay, I'm going to tell you what happened here. I knew you were kind of like, what's going on?
What is going on?
I'm sure you couldn't wait to get home and rewatch that game.
I could not. It was the first time this season I haven't watched every single second of a game because it was a very close personal relative of mine that was getting married. And by the way, I did properly chastise him for the timing of his wedding, that it was tasteless and it was thoughtless, but I still went. But yeah, it was the first time I haven't missed a second of a Georgia game in probably 6 years. And I did it this weekend, and I blinked my eyes, and Georgia was on a 38-7 run. So
yeah, you get to figure out who are the football fans. And this was like 15 years. When was this? 2007. My brother got married, and it was it was a Georgia-Florida Saturday. I was like, and when his soon-to-be wife put that date down, I was like, that's not cool.
That's how you want to start out with our family? That's
what you want to do? Georgia, Florida, Saturday in October, late October. That's really where you're going with this?
Oh, my goodness.
And I was like, just don't. I told her, I said, you can't get married on this date. She's like, well, this is the date we put down. We're doing this. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Georgia won that game against Florida. But I had to, it was a different time where you didn't immediately go home and rewatch it.
Right. You had to you had to work to see it then.
Kidding me.
Man, that's brutal. Brutal.
Some of the key matchups in this Georgia-Texas game, Smooch, do favor Georgia. Or I mean, we can talk about that. And I feel like right now, when we're talking about Georgia peaking, their offensive line is playing as well as they have in several years. They really are.
2 or 3
They're healthy.
years, yeah.
And they've got lots of talent there. And if you think about the extension of the offensive line, which is our tight ends, exceptional. They are exceptional at blocking. And even the true freshman Elias Williams, we saw some plays with him just destroying defenders. And I'm like, okay, if you start doing that, guess what Kirby's going to do? You about to get some more snaps.
Yes, exactly right. He's more concerned with that, you annihilating people blocking, than that catch you made down the sideline.
You can keep him on the field then.
If you keep him on the field, some stuff's about to happen.
Just confuse defenses and they don't know what's coming. And then if you ever get a one-on-one with Elias Williams, and he's 6'7", 240 pounds, and he's he's not just big, he's athletic.
Good luck.
There's no answer for that. No. And so Georgia's offensive line smooch against Texas D-line. That's the strength of their team. Texas' D-line is good. They got some pass rushers too. Colin Simmons has had a good year.
Oh yeah,
and they will get after you. But I feel comfortable right now that Georgia's going to pick that up because they're playing their best football of the year and they're healthy. Yeah, and they've kind of done this right here. They've gelled. They put it all together.
They're playing together as one unit. That's rare for an offensive line, but they really.
And it's been happening for multiple games now. It's not just like we're crossing our fingers. It's going to happen against Texas. It's been happening, and that's why you see Georgia's offense playing very well and them executing. Because anytime you want to talk about execution, we do as an offense. Then it starts with the O-line. I don't care what play you call. I don't care how well your quarterback is diagnosing things. If you don't give him time and he's got a free rusher, then that breaks down. Then he's rolling out and just throwing the ball out of bounds, and you're like, oh, what happened there? But, yeah, Georgia's playing very well offensively right now, and that's from a Texas's strength, Smooch. That is huge for Georgia's offensive line and their blocking to be playing well. Not just pass blocking, but the run blocking is all working in tandem, and that gives Georgia a huge advantage over what I would consider Texas's strength.
Yeah, that is Texas's strength without a doubt. And that's where I'm the most concerned going into this game is that Texas is mighty, especially the front four, even the front seven. And what kind of problems will that bring about for the Dogs? I will say this. I believe I should have it in front of me, but I believe it was the Oscar Delp reception over the middle where we saw an outside and an inside blitz, I'm trying to remember what play it was. Anyway, it was a 6-man pressure on Gunner. We saw the left tackle make a decision. He pulled out, hit his man. One guy, there was 2 guys on that side, so one came free, picked up by the running back. The entire protection slid and caught their blitzer coming up the middle. It was perfect communication. It was the perfect call, and 6 men blocked 6 guys. It was an absolute thing of beauty, and Gunner didn't miss. That type of thing bodes really well going into this game because Texas can generate pressure with 4. You have got to be able to block against this team.
You got to block them. You got to pick up those guys. They feel like they're gonna have to take some chances. And Georgia's as a communication standpoint with the offensive line, which is so important. and working together. I feel good about that. And plus, on running plays, they're getting downfield in the second level, which that's what springs the big plays, Smooch. And you saw that this past weekend. You've seen it recently. The big plays are sprung by big linemen getting on small DBs and linebackers, and Georgia's doing that very well. I do think that in terms of Texas and what Georgia needs to do defensively, and there are more questions defensively, especially in the secondary. Hopefully, DeMelo Jones, who didn't play this past weekend, is going to be ready to go, and it looks like everybody else is good to go. That they hold serve and give the defensive line time to get home, or their linebackers time to get home. We saw last year Georgia was going to dial some stuff up against Texas. They did. Yep. But was that because Georgia was kind of backed against the wall at that point in the season, and they really dialed a lot of pressures up, exotic pressures up against Texas. But they also had some guys who could just get home because they were 11 or 13. But then the exotic pressures came as well. But I really think Georgia is going to have to eliminate some explosives for Texas. I don't know if we've seen Texas have explosives, but not against elite athletes like Georgia has. But if Texas can't hit explosives, end in touchdowns against Georgia, I don't feel like Arch Manning can consistently lead.
No.
He hasn't shown it yet. This would be if he did it, this would be his coming out game. I mean, he's had some good games, but against subpar teams. If he'd be able to do it against Georgia and consistently lead an offense for 10, 12 plays down the field, this would be new for Texas's offense this year.
Well, I'll tell you, and this is just from a Georgia defense standpoint. This is really not an affront to Texas in any way. C.J. Allen lately has played like the C.J. Allen we saw his freshman year. We're like, oh my gosh, what is this guy going to be like when he's an upperclassman? Yeah. And I don't know if I have no idea. People ask us all the time, do we know? No, we really don't know. Was this cat injured? Was there something else going on with him? Was he being asked to do too many things in the defense? I don't know. All I know is he's played like a Buckus Award winner lately. And he was absolutely unstoppable against Mississippi State. And then you take Raylan Wilson. This strength is up the middle again, which is a departure from, say, 2024, but more in line with 23-22, where the strength was up the middle. These two right now are doing some great things, and they appear to be finding their legs at exactly the right time. But to your point, if Georgia generates any pass rush, I don't see where Texas can go toe-to-toe with them. They're going to have to neutralize Georgia's pass rush, and then you've got a 4-quarter dogfight.
Yeah, since the bye week before Florida, C.J. Allen has been a different player.
100%.
And because our question was about, was he a step slow? Not was he cerebral? Did he know what he was doing? Oh, could he be quarterback of the defense?
Is he a leader? Never a question. Yeah,
he was a step slow, Smooch, on the outside a lot of times, and sometimes he would get caught up in the wash with the blockers and stuff. But he hasn't been the last two games, and so that would lead you to believe he's healthy now because you've seen a different C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson for that matter. He's playing when C.J.'s playing well. That's it. Boy, he gives Raylan some more room to be the freak. He is the better athlete of the two.
Correct. Yeah,
and so you give those two guys, and then you got Chris Cole and Justin Williams coming in, and we also seen Zayden Walker, the number one linebacker in the country, played this past weekend. Good, yeah, Chris Jones, another top 10 linebacker in the country, the year before. The players are there. A lot of them are just young. Yeah, and so another point, Smooch. I feel like last year Georgia did get pressure on Texas, which made a huge deal. Yeah, and I don't know if Arch, like I said again, if he does it this game, it'll be the first time he did it against an elite, talented team.
And he has the talent to break out in this game. We're not doubting that. It could happen.
He does. But I would be surprised if Georgia gets any kind of pressure on him if he was successful. I just would be. Next year, he's going to have all these games under his belt. The game's going to be much slower for him, and I think he could be that quarterback. He's just not been this year overall. Beck was bad last year, Smooch. We won twice.
That's something that no one's talking about, Troop. Expound on that.
In a game and a half, I mean, he got hurt right before halftime in the SEC championship. It was a game and a half. Beck was bad.
He was bad.
He did not help Georgia at all in that game. Georgia's defense put the Dogs in great field position after he threw several interceptions. And just he was doing his thing. That's what Beck was about. A lot of times he was very inconsistent. You didn't know what you were going to get from him. What Georgia's defense had, they played with their hair on fire.
They were crazy.
And
that was a fun game.
They did. They did that because everybody was picking Texas in that game in Austin. Everybody was. And Georgia came in, and late in the game, they tried to, as Kirby Smart, they tried to take it from us.
The officials literally allowed the fans to overturn a call. I've never seen it before. I've never seen it since. We may never see it again, but the fans overturned a call against Georgia. That's insane.
That was crazy. So everything should be pointed. I'm talking to myself. As Georgia fans, we always do some self-talk, make ourselves feel better. Some of us are better at it than others. And as the week wears on, I was not here a few days ago because, like I said, a couple of points. I felt like Texas had more to lose in this game in terms of where they were in their season. They could not afford a loss.
Yes, you're right.
And I felt like they had a bye week. And we've seen how that's transpired against Georgia defenses. And it's going to give you pretty much about two possessions, 2 long drives against Georgia. And you may be up 10, 14 points at that point. But I do feel like Georgia is a different team now, and they have progressed.
I agree, and I want to ask you this: we saw in the Mississippi State game how Georgia used their offensive what they put on film on offense. They used that against Mississippi State and burned them. We'll talk about that a little later, I'm sure. But is this a game where Georgia uses what they've shown on defense on film against the team that's game planning for them based on what they've put on film? They definitely did it against Mississippi State on offense. Will they do it against Texas on defense? That's kind of where I am on this one.
Yeah. I would like to believe that, Smooch. I just don't. I just feel like this is kind of a year where Georgia's got to try to hang on defensively.
Blitz and pray. The blitz and pray defense of 2025.
But they've done a good job. Georgia's like really, really good at not giving up huge explosive plays. A lot of them during the game, they are. Yeah. And so they make you're going to have to drive the field consistently and not have penalties, not have turnovers. And then you can have a 12-play drive and score points. But can they keep you out of the end zone? That's one thing. Georgia does a good job of that. Mm-hmm. And if you're a team that commits penalties, if you get 3rd and 15 or 2nd and 15, it's going to be tough. Yep. And you're giving Georgia's defense a lot more opportunity to come get you and to send some exotic blitzes. But they cannot let Arch Manning be comfortable. I don't think there's anybody in Georgia's game planning defensively who wants him to be comfortable at all.
No.
You cannot let him be comfortable. Let him. He wants to run around a little bit. He may get a few yards rushing the ball. He's going to take some shots too. You can't be comfortable. And you can't sit back there.
Yeah, and he just seems to be getting his feet up under him a little bit. You know, he's had some good games lately. This is you cannot let him continue that momentum. You've got to immediately put that doubt he had in himself, which was obvious. I don't even think Texas fans would disagree. He was doubting himself just a few games ago. Yeah. You've got to bring that doubt right back for him in this game. You have to.
Yeah, because Georgia can also sell something to their defense, Smooch. Mm-hmm. It's not like Texas is the only program right now or only team in this game that has a sell a certain philosophy or a certain strategy or that their backs are against the wall. They've got to beat Georgia and Texas A&M. Georgia can also sell to their defense. You win this game. We just punched our ticket. Our ticket's punched. We are at minimum. Who knows what's going to happen in terms of SEC championship and all that. We might not make that, but at minimum, we're 5 or 6 seed hosting a home game in the first round of the playoffs against probably a Power 5 team or a group of 5. And so that's something to sell. You guys are playing postseason football for a champion in terms of a championship.
Yes.
If you win this game, this is not just a game that you got something to lay back on. This is the last SEC game of the year. It's a home game, and Athens is going to be lit. I would love to be there. We chose to come to the Alabama game instead of the Texas game, but they're very similar games in terms of all the hype. And I mean, think about it. That was the two games we circled coming into this year, and so we can sell that. Kirby's selling that all week long about Texas, and the fact that we played so well against Mississippi State tells you that they were focused on that. And I know that some people had some eyes towards what's going to come into Athens this weekend because Mississippi State's only won one SEC game in the past couple of years. But now those guys can punch their ticket. And only one loss in the SEC all year long. They finish out their SEC schedule this weekend. And so that's something to sell. I was worried about that because of Texas's
desperation. They're desperate.
They are desperate. And
yes.
We saw last year that Georgia was desperate coming into Texas. And
desperate man is always dangerous.
Very dangerous. But if Georgia does make Arch uncomfortable, get him off his spot, chase him towards the sideline, going to be a very good day. If they tackle well, not a whole lot of yards after the catch or carries, going to be a good day because Texas doesn't run the ball that well. Going to be one-dimensional likely. Georgia's made everybody that way. And if Georgia's offense just keeps executing at a high level, and they have been doing that.
Yeah.
It's set up because you're blocking well, and Gunnar Stockton has gotten better every week, and no moment is too big for him. And so executing well at a high level, if those three things, Georgia's going to have a great Saturday with a great chance to win this game by 7 to 10 points.
And we've seen Gunnar put up some good numbers and put up elite numbers in big games. We've seen it. We saw, with Ole Miss. We saw it with even Florida, but we saw it with Tennessee as well. What the difference was this weekend, and I believe I heard it on BA's podcast. I bet it was on Brandon's podcast this week. I want to make sure I give him credit. It was the ease with which Gunnar dismantled Mississippi State this week. It never looked like he was working hard. It looked like he was in total control. Those types of things bode well going into a game like this. Gunnar seemed to, if Kirby wanted Gunnar to put up 400 yards in that game, I think he probably could have. I don't think there was anything stopping them other than the fact that they had the score. And they wrote it out like Kirby always does. But it was the ease with which Gunnar operated the offense. I would say Gunnar operated the offense better against Mississippi State than he did against Marshall to open the season. That's the type of progression I'm talking about that you like to see at this point when you speak of momentum going into this final stretch, Drew Brinson.
Gunnar's playing his best football.
Yeah.
And he has progressed. He's not chasing Lambos or NIL right now. I mean, and he leads the SEC smooch
or Instagram models. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't knock him for that, but
no, that's all right.
He leads the SEC in terms of analytics.
Is that
you look
right?
at the efficiency and the QBR. It's Gunnar Stockton. That sounds nuts looking at who he was facing this year. When you look at the first of the season, he's first in the SEC, third in the country in QBR.
Wow.
Yeah, and so his passer rating stats are also spectacular. First in SEC in passer rating at 152.12. He's first overall in the passer rating. Versus ranked opponents. So the better the competition gets, Gunnar gets better. He's got a better passer rating against ranked opponents as well. And he's also first in passer rating in the second half in the SEC.
Whew.
So coming into this season, I looked at quarterbacks, especially Georgia's quarterbacks, based on two aspects. And because you're going to be judged on this. You're going to be judged on what you do in elimination games or games that, an elimination game might be earlier in the season than you think it would be, but also in fourth quarters. And he's gotten better He's gotten better when the chips were down and when you had to have him in the second half. That's when Gunner's been his best. He just blocks everything out. So it was a quality of Stetson Bennett as well. And so you can compare a championship quarterback who won 2 championships for Georgia to what Gunner Stockton is doing. We didn't see it happening this quickly, but he's better when against better teams and when Georgia is facing big trouble in the second half.
100%. There is, and the team believes that. The team does not believe that the game is in a situation where their quarterback cannot get them out of it. And you can see watch Miami right now if you want to see the difference. The difference is Gunner is best when adversity is worst. That is a quality you can't time with a stopwatch, you can't measure with a measuring tape. And most people can't even find it in interviews. We talk about it on this show. It is the it factor. Gunner has it. Whatever it is, he has it. I don't care if he's 6'1" and the wrong weight and the wrong everything else. I don't care about any of that. The fact is he has the it factor, and his team knows he has it. And when you have that type of buy-in, you got buy-in at the quarterback position and buy-in at the head coach. Georgia has not had that in 2 years. The last 2 years, they did not have buy-in at both those positions at the same time. They do now, and that gives these guys a feeling that, all right, we may be down 17 at half. That's not a problem for this guy. That means it's not a problem for us, and that's where the Dogs are going into this game.
He's also number 1 in the SEC in passer rating when trailing by 8 to 14 points.
Of course he is.
He got it. Gunner Stockton also has a number 1 in the SEC competition completion percentage at 69.5. Second is Cutter Boley, believe it or not. He also has tied for the most touchdowns in the SEC, 13 touchdowns, tied with Joey Aguilar. But Aguilar has 7 picks, and Gunner only has 2.
And Gunner has 19 total touchdowns. That's another thing. Gunner's
the rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, he's contributed 6 on the ground. Yeah,
very big in the red zone. We talk about that. That the +1 in the red zone, so huge. Number 1 passing rating in the SEC, of course, is owned by Gunner Stockton at 157.1. Thank you, the Bulldog Report, and Eric.
Yeah, he gets it done, doesn't he?
Give us some of those statistics. Anything else? We were singing Gunner Stockton's praises. I will say Nate Frazier had a big game against Mississippi State.
Oh, we sure did.
They blocked so well for him. And he's averaging – did you folks know that Nate Frazier is averaging 6 yards per carry? That seems like – I didn't know that. That seems like a lot in SEC play.
Yeah.
6 yards.
And
Chauncey Bowen's at 5.6. Not bad either, right?
That ain't bad. We'll take that too.
Good.
We'll take 5.6. That's nothing to sneeze at. I think that Nate showing the big play ability. We love Chauncey. Chauncey is always going to give you positive yards, and we love it. He has creative runs, but the home run ability that Nate Frazier has just now introduced is going to go. It's going to help both running backs, and you see that in the way they're great friends. They love for the other one to succeed because it only helps them. But who would have thought that at week 10, here we are. We got 3 games left in the season, and we're talking about, oh my gosh, we are right here with another running back duo that is Georgia Bulldogs deserving of their title. You know, the great teams have always had this duo at the running back position, and these guys are stepping into those roles at just the right time. And Nate played a ridiculous game. I have watched his runs. I've watched his carries at least 10 times since the game. I thought that's probably his best game as a Dog, and we know it is statistically, but he looked fabulous, Drew.
And look at those running back carries for this past game, or it's a little bit not confusing, but skewed because Georgia to take advantage. They were up 38-7 at one point. But Frazier had 18 carries and Bowens had 20, or not carries, but snaps. 18 snaps and Bowens had 23 snaps. Cash Jones, 15. You didn't see a whole lot. Bo Walker got 7. You saw some of his plays, some of his ability in the second half in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And we heard all about him in the camp. But also looking at the defensive line, Smooch, in terms of snaps, because they are missing Jordan Hall.
Yeah,
how they're going to fill that. We've talked about it. Kristen Miller with 36. Elijah Griffin was number 2 with 26.
Come on, Elijah.
Then John Ye with 21. McLeod with 22. A name that we were emphasized last week was Nnamdi Aboko, and he had 20 snaps. So he was in there a good bit.
Yeah.
Freshman J.J. Hahn with 17. Josh Horton with 17. And Justin Green, another highly rated young player with 11 snaps as well. Linebacker. I was curious about linebacker for Georgia. Let me see who stood out, because Georgia got some players in there. You know you're going to see Quinn Johnson and C.J. Allen, Raylan Wilson, and Gabe Harris.
I thought Zayden really stood out to me. Zayden Walker.
Yeah, I'll tell you how many snaps he had.
Yeah.
So Gabe Harris had 33, but Chris Cole, back from only 3 snaps the week before, had 29 snaps.
There you go.
Too healthy. Justin Williams, 23 snaps. Those are the guys that are coming. Right?
Those are the freaks waiting in the wings, guys.
Zayden Walker with 12 snaps.
Good for him. He did a lot with those 12 snaps.
He was playing early.
Yeah.
He was playing in the first quarter. And I was like, what? How is it? They just put him out there. So let's go. And he looked good. Nothing about him looked like he was not prepared or too inexperienced.
He wasn't tentative, no.
Yep. Chris Jones with 12 snaps off the edge. Mendoza with 9. And Kenningbond with 4. And Terrell Foster with 4. And looking at the DBs, because we were wondering if DeMello was going to play or not. He didn't play. And, of course, so they had to make up for that some way. Dalen Everett with 65. Of course, K.J. Bolden played the whole game with 62. Aguero, again, at star with 56. And you can kind of figure things out. Ellis Robinson with 45 snaps.
Okay.
And Daniel Harris with 25. So Daniel Harris got back in there at cornerback and played. You know, they gave up one big explosive play in the fourth quarter, but
near the end,
it is what it is. At your safety spot, other than Bolden, Ja'Cory Thomas with 44 and Zion Branch with 29.
Okay.
Rashawn Dinkins got in there for 13 snaps. Jaden Harris with 5 and Dominic Kelly with 5 as well. That's your snap count.
We're big Dominic Kelly fans here, guys. We're always pulling for it. Yeah,
he's produced, dude. It's like we've seen in spring games. Sometimes, it bodes well for the future. You see guys produce when they get on the field, and practice matters. But you got to get your opportunity. But Chauncey Bowens, great springtime player.
Right.
Dominic Kelly, great springtime player. They're going to get their opportunities coming.
Absolutely.
Anything else? I think one of the things as we close out was we watched football and we're talking about read and react. And there was some game. It wasn't a whole lot of interesting games this past weekend, Smooch. LSU looked terrible against Alabama.
They looked awful.
But Alabama didn't look that great either. But the game that inspired the most commentary was that Indiana Penn State game, and I had folks coming. I was working at the bar, and I had some people who bet routinely. I'm betting the lower 48 on Indiana in this game. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! And the same folks who were so mad, so angry that Gunnar Stockton took a knee the week before because it cost him points too.
Right.
I had a guy coming in there. He was so angry with. He's a Georgia fan. Maybe not as big as me and you, apparently.
Yeah.
He was so furious at Gunnar Stockton for not taking those points as 11 points and covering the spread.
Yeah.
Because it cost him $300. That he just went on. I hope they do this. I hope they lose today. I was like, okay, you stop right there. That's what I told him. I'm looking right in his face. You stop. I hope you lose everything you bet today. I hope you lose it. Hope you lose it. I hope you lose maximum amount of money today. Because don't ever
say
bet
that
against Georgia, or don't ever get mad at Georgia won just because it cost you money. Don't bet again. If you can't handle it, don't bet on Georgia. That would be the
there you go.
What I would go with. Come on. But that Indiana game did. It caused a lot of commentary, and you folks heard the Gus Johnson. People are on different sides of the spectrum on what Gus Johnson is to the basketball and football because he's over the top. Every single word he speaks.
Nails
and some people love it.
On a chalkboard. I'm sorry. I don't want to ruin.
But I will say in the 90s, me and Smoocher in our 50s, in the 90s, I love Dick Vitale.
Yeah.
It was similar. But I was also 20 years old, so.
Yeah, maybe he had a higher tolerance back then.
I think so. But now Gus Johnson, I'm like, dude, will you please quit making every play seem like the best play you've seen in your life?
Give him the Heisman. Oh, my God.
He couldn't even speak because every play that it was an interesting drive. It was a fun drive. I enjoyed that Mendoza made all those plays on that last drive.
But what had he done before that, Troop?
Dude had 130 yards passing to that last drive.
Yes.
So Penn State is a team that's mailed it in already. They are.
They're already
done.
packing their lockers up. Yeah.
But guess what they have? They have some blue chip ratio.
Yeah.
And when you have some blue chip ratio, you got some athletes, they're going to make it tough for you. So what that tells you about Indiana, you ain't played enough teams with athletes.
You're right about that.
Good talent. That when you face a team with good talent, you struggle. You need a last 2-minute drive to pull yourself out of that game.
Yep.
You do. And if you're going to say, because the same pundits who criticized Georgia for winning by 4 against Florida, who just decided not to recognize that we took a knee on the 1-yard line and could have won by 11.
Yeah.
And every statistical category was won easily by Georgia, can also look at this game and should look at this game. I can put some stats up if you want to that will tell you that, this was not Indiana winning this game. They had a great drive in the 2-minute, but Penn State lets you know when you face a team with enough talent that you don't get everything easy, because guess what? Mendoza has had a great season.
Yeah.
He's an RPO quarterback. He's a quarterback, who takes advantage of teams who don't have the talent that they have, and he's a primary target, one read type of quarterback. That works when you're playing teams that aren't on your level. When you start playing teams who have athletes who can compete and who can battle down to down, it don't work. It doesn't work a whole game. And he made some spectacular passes in that last series, in that last possession, and his receiver, that touchdown reception was
that was insane.
That was perfectly placed, and it was a spectacular one-of-one top catch.
Yep.
Not taking away that. But if you're good as you think you are, you don't even in that position.
Yeah. What is Penn State ranked, Troop?
Penn State's not ranked.
Exactly. Penn State is not.
Yes.
Penn State's not ranked.
Well, Florida wasn't ranked either, and that's what they wanted to say. That was like Georgia beating Florida.
Georgia did not need a miracle throw and a miracle catch. That was a double simultaneous miracle that they required to win that game. Now, they did get it. All credit to them for getting it.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this. Florida would beat Penn State by 30, and they'd probably beat Indiana by 20. I'll say that right now. There's a big difference between what we're talking about here. But the fact of the matter is still, Georgia did not need a miracle to win that game. Georgia had actually called off the Dawgs, and Indiana used every dog it had right up to the last second of that game. Watch the two games and tell me who the superior team is.
The same people who were discrediting Georgia for only winning by 4, we know how that game ended. So 4. If you say 4, we know you're being disingenuous. But the thing that they do get right is that Penn State and both Florida are teams who have talent. They aren't great teams, aren't good teams, but they have talent. Yes. And they can make stuff difficult. They have players who can make plays. They can put you in some bad spots where you have to execute, and they'll have weapons. Both those teams have that.
That's exactly right.
But Georgia didn't need a miracle at the end of the game to win that. So
No. As a matter of fact, they told their quarterback not to score. Those are two different things.
It's even, I shouldn't even be having this conversation because we know that Georgia and Indiana are not on the same level. They're not. Indiana's ranked higher than Georgia because guess what? They didn't play Georgia's schedule. These schedules. Flip the schedules right now.
If you flip the schedules, Indiana's unranked. Nobody even knows who they are.
Indiana's unranked. Nobody's talking about them whatsoever. Right. All the sound bites from Cignetti, they don't ring true whatsoever.
No.
Anyway, that's just our take because we watch football and we,
There you go.
we're obviously SEC fans, but we watch football.
Yeah.
And it's just us calling it like it is. On that, I think a lot of folks, if they're being honest, if they aren't just Indiana homers, know that they shouldn't have struggled with Penn State. And the fact that they did, and he only had 130 yards passing at that point, and they could not run the ball because they were playing a team who had some talent. When you play a team with a pulse, you better come ready to play. You better have the athletes to play them, and you better be buckled down.
That's it.
And Indiana was very fortunate that was still a one-score game at that point, and they won, and they'll move on. But when they get to the playoffs, that makes you question whether, I'm not scared of Indiana. I'm not, like I said, RPO quarterback, primary target, one read guy, bring it on. One-dimensional in a hurry.
I'm hoping they're not one and done in the playoffs because I really want Georgia to get to play them, but I don't see it happening. I don't think they'll make it that far. Georgia's got to get itself into the playoff, but I would love to see that matchup because if you remember Georgia TCU, I've got a similar vibe about how that might go down.
Yeah, I give them credit because they have maximized their potential, I feel like, but at some point, the clock strikes 12, and at some point it happens.
Yep.
That's all I got, Smooch. It's going to be a big, huge week, and we circled this game, in the Alabama game in terms of the home games for Georgia. Spectacular, and Georgia's going to have every recruit. I think every big name recruit is going to be at this game, and who can blame them?
No,
it's a night game in Athens, and all the fanfare and the celebration is going to be in Athens, and it's a big time game. All the big names, but in the end, I feel like even though I worry because I'm going to have anxiety going in this game because things can happen, and definitely Texas has the talent to beat you if you don't play well. But if both teams play well, I get down to this: both teams play well, Georgia's going to win, and they're going to win in a probably a +1 score game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the same. I think it could be a little more. I think that I can see Georgia pulling ahead and then Texas clawing its way back, but it not to be enough. So it may be a 1-score game, but it may be one where the outcome's really not as in question as it sounds like because Texas is having to come back. That's kind of where I see it. It just depends, Do we make Arch Manning look like Arch Manning all year, or do we make him look like a 500-yard per game Heisman Trophy favorite? Georgia's defense has shown the propensity to do both this year. So we'll find out. I've got a good feeling about the game, though.
If I had to go on evidence, Arch Manning is going to look like a Heisman Trophy winner in the first quarter, and then they're going to buckle it down, and he's not going to look that good after that.
Yeah, and listen, I can help a lot of Georgia fans with something on social media. Don't comment until the midway through the second quarter.
Oh, my God.
And then you will have calmed down because there's so many people that renounce Georgia and want to fire Kirby in the first quarter of every game. Wait till the second quarter before you spout your wisdom.
Yeah, and Georgia's showing you who they are. Texas is pretty much showing you who they are. They're playing better. Both teams are playing better, but Georgia has a higher ceiling and playing at their peak right now. So feel good about that. It's a game where Georgia can punch their ticket into the playoffs and be done with the SEC with only one loss. We would take that every time. Looking at this schedule, what a dangerous schedule all year long, and Georgia's navigated it to this point. Hopefully in Athens, they're going to find a way to beat Texas. I don't care if they beat them by 1 point or beat them by 30 points. But a W is all it takes. And
That's
Georgia's
right.
going to look good because even a close win against the Texas team, you're going to get credit for that. Nobody's going to knock you for beating Texas in a close game. So, all right, that's what I got, Smooch. We do appreciate all our fans for tuning in. It's been a great run over the past. It's been a great season. So we can't thank you enough. We do appreciate all the subscriptions and all the likes and the shares. We love all that. But that's all I got. We'll check back with you in a couple of days, Smooch.
Episode 162, Troop. We're at 162. Woo! This thing has survived. Yeah.
We've been doing it.
Keep the conversation going on YouTube and TikTok, guys. We answer all those that we can get to. We usually get to all of them in a week. I think this week there were like 150 to get to, but we got to them all. So, yeah, keep them coming. Let's keep the conversation going. And especially if you hate Georgia, by all means, comment on our stuff. We really enjoy talking with you guys, too.
For Smooch Moncrief, this is Troop Brinson saying so long. We'll see you soon.
Go Dogs.
This is the Dog Show with Troop and Smooch.
Hey, Patrick, what am I now?
Stupid?
No, I'm Texas.
What's the difference?